good morning, or good afternoon, wherever you are. Thank you for joining. We are very excited for today's guest, Rose Calvelo from the Rose Calvelo team. They are in Canada, Calgary, Canada. And today, Rose is going to be sharing how their team successfully promotes open houses to be successful, what they do before their open house to advertise it, and then afterward, what they do after their open house for all of their standard operating procedures and protocols for generating not only buyer leads, but more importantly, seller leads for how they build the buzz before the event and maximizing their post-event follow-ups. So this session is being recorded, but we love for these sessions to be interactive. If you can chime in during the chat, during the session in the chat, or feel free to unmute and ask questions. I certainly take advantage of this time and ask questions if I have any. Feel free to do the same, unmute or ask in the chat as well. It's being recorded, so we will send you the recording afterward and post it in the Facebook community. But I will let Rose take it from here and break down the exact steps that her team takes to turn open houses into a powerful lead generation tool. So Rose, thank you so much for taking the time to share a bit about what your team does with your open houses.
Thank you, Elena, and thank you for this opportunity. Open houses 13 years ago is what allowed me to get my name into the game. 13 years ago in our market, nobody really did open houses just because they thought it was the nosy neighbors coming in, and they just didn't really see value in it. And oftentimes, us as agents, we're so focused on how many people came to the open house that we lose focus on the entire purpose of marketing the open house to maybe a broader set of eyes that we can get value, provide value to them, and in return get business out of it. So today I'm just going to talk about exactly how we do our open houses and how the pre and the post of the open house that we often lose focus on is very important to making sure we connect with not just buyer leads, but more importantly, seller leads. Just because we want to make sure that agents aren't just buyer's agents or just seller's agents, that we're really specializing in selling real estate, whether it's to buyers or sellers, just to not fall into the pattern of that buyer's market and seller's market and struggle through the process. So this is a great tool to be able to teach you guys a few things, and I hope you can get some good, useful advice on here. So number one thing that's super important is how you market your open house. For us, we have a social media marketing tool that we create a buzz on. So whether that's your Instagram reel or Instagram story, make sure that you do it professionally, looks clean, minimal, not overloaded with information, and make sure that you're adding the URL of the link of your listing that hopefully goes to your IDX website on there, just so that your followers can click on the link and it'll take them directly onto your listing for more information as well. So now when it comes to Instagram posts, I don't know if a lot of people know this, but one of the greatest options on there is to go to the post, and as you're creating it, click on more options and add reminder. So your followers can hit add reminder, and it's gonna remind them prior to the open house that they have an event to attend to, and it brings them onto your page. Another way of really promoting it on Facebook is Facebook events. So create an event on Facebook, highlight the unique features and the neighborhood perks of the area that you're hosting the open house, and add some pictures of the property as well. I'm not sure if Facebook events allows you to put any videos up, but if it does, definitely put one of those as well. And ensure that you're also posting it on the MLS. That's oftentimes where people go to see what open houses is in their area. So when they go onto your listing on the MLS, whether it's realtor.ca, realtor.com, when they go on the MLS, they can see that you're hosting an open house. So they can attend and what times and all the information.
Can I ask a couple questions about the Instagram posting?
Yeah.
When you post on Instagram, are you just posting it on the team Instagram page, or do the agents also post personally on their own pages? Like, are you collaborating? What does that look like?
For sure. It's key to collaborate because then you have more people looking at the open house. You just never know where somebody needs real estate information or help to purchase, sell, invest in real estate. So the more eyes you have on your listing, the better it is. Normally how we do it is we tag the agent that's going to be hosting that open house just so that they're added as a collaborator, or we mention them so they can share those as well. But we always recommend all of our agents to just share and post so that it's a collaborative project for everybody.
And then a follow-up question: when you do the reels, do you pay any attention to like trending sounds or trending audio? Do you do that at all?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. Is there a better way of doing it, Elena, that you would recommend?
Oh, I don't know. I was just curious. Like, I've always been curious of people's different strategies of trending audio and whether or not that works or not, and if it's helpful, and or if you just use your own audio built into the video.
Yeah, definitely trending, something soft, nothing too hardcore. Just a little bit attention grabbing and fun, I think does the trick.
Cool. Thank you.
Yeah. Another great tool of putting your listing or your open house out there is your Google business page. You can actually create a post on your Google business page that allows you to put your open house information on there, which I think a lot of people tend to miss. There's just so many steps. So if you can just write this down and just have like a little task list prior to open house campaign, marketing it properly, it's a really great tool. Email blast. So if your brokerage has maybe like an email blast to your local agents, or you have a database yourself or your team, definitely send an email blast to the agents, showcasing that you're holding an open house and you would love to see them there. We also promote it in our newsletters that we have going out every week. So if we have the opportunity to get the information out there quick enough, then we make sure that it's in our newsletter as well. The best way to do it on a newsletter is a quick video of maybe the agent that's hosting the open house to talk about the open house, and if not, just pictures and letting your community know that you're hosting an open house. Now, my favorite part of promoting an open house is, of course, door knocking, but you have to make sure that you do this door knocking effectively. And what is your intention behind door knocking? So are we just going out there to introduce ourselves as another agent in the community, or are we going out there with a purpose to actually provide value to these homeowners? So the way we do it on our team, and the way I've done it for the past 13 years, that has really allowed me to grow my business, is I print out a postcard, double-sided, and on both sides it has a QR code and information about the open house. It's very minimal, easy on the eyes. It's a picture of you, just a little bit of information about your contact information, your phone number, your email, and that's it, and your name, and the QR code. And for us, it says, look inside your neighbor's new listing, really small. So, but people usually, it grabs their attention when they see look inside your neighbors with a QR code. And you door knock. So you don't just leave it there. You actually knock on the door. And when the potential home seller comes down and opens the door, you introduce yourself and you say that you're just here to promote the open house that their neighbor's having. Now, the trick here is the principle of reciprocity or fair trade. So if you have a small gift, it doesn't have to cost a lot of money. It depends where the area of the open house is. So sometimes if we're doing something luxury community, maybe take a bottle of wine to each of these properties. If not, a cute bag of popcorn. You don't have to break the bank for this, but take something small, because usually when you give something to someone, they feel obligated to give you something in return. So give them the little gift and say, you're here to promote the open house, and by the way, your neighbor Joe, I'm providing him a home equity report, also known as a CMA. But when you say equity, the sellers tend to really like that word, just the psychology of how the seller's brain works. And they go, oh, okay, and you can say, I would be happy to provide you one as well, no obligation. And it's complimentary. So get their information, and now you have them in your CMA. We use Follow Up Boss as our CMA. CRM. We use Follow Up Boss as our CRM. So we just kind of put their information in there and we connect with them that way. So now that they're in your system, the possibilities are endless with what you do with that information, but you want to stay consistent and provide value every step of the way. So in regards to the gift giving, you can also collaborate with local businesses like a coffee shop and ask them to give you maybe a discount code, a little printout of a free coffee, or whatever it is that they can do to cross promote with your brand. That works a lot of the times too. Now, moving on to the prep of the open house. So the preparation of the open house, it has just as much to do as the ideas and coming up with creative things to make sure you're successful. So I would always recommend a minimum of 10 signs with balloons, anything you can do to create excitement. It depends on your community as well, but I know our community in the Calgary market quite well with certain areas, and I always recommend putting your signs out before 8 a.m. on the same day. Now, there's certain bylaws and restrictions that will remove your signage if you've had it there for too long or overnight. So you definitely want to be aware of that and check into that as well. And create hype. Put your signs out, minimum 10 all around the area. And you want to host your open house for a minimum of 3 hours. Don't go in there for an hour and a half or 2 hours. Host it for a minimum of 3 hours to have the most traffic come into your open house. Now, based on personal experience, I like weekends after brunch. So usually, there's on Sundays, maybe some people go to church and they go for brunch after. So maybe target the 1 till 4 p.m. or 12 till 3 p.m. times. But my personal best time of hosting an open house is Thursdays between 5 to 8 p.m. And it's a little bit unconventional, but I find it has had a lot of people that are coming from work, driving through the neighborhood. They see our signs and they're like, oh, I'm just going to stop by real quick. And they come in and they have real estate on their brain at that time. They're not distracted with their kids or family or anything. They're just kind of really focused, and they're there with intention, with a purpose, and we're able to provide them the value and get them into our system and help them. So we're a big fan of QR codes. And I think if you're going to put your signs out, definitely have a QR code on the sign as well for people that are walking. They can just kind of scan the QR code and get your listing on their phone. And a QR code that goes right into your IDX website. Don't just put a QR code of some other, something that you can't measure. I like to be able to measure the traffic into our websites, how many clicks, how successful our marketing has been for that particular open house. So put a sticker of a QR code. It doesn't have to be a sticker that you take off after every open house. Maybe just have a landing page specific for the open houses that you post or you host. So the QR code is a very, very powerful tool that sometimes we're missing out on, to make sure that now people live in their phone, and they're able to share the URL easily as well. Any questions so far, Elena, or you're good?
Yeah. Do you use a specific QR code generator? Like, do you use Canva, or do you use something built in with your IDX provider?
Good question. We use Canva.
Okay. And is it Canva that tracks the clicks, or is it your website that does?
It's our website that does.
Okay. Do you mind sharing who your website provider is?
Yeah, we're with YLopo and Sierra, our lead gen sites that provide IDX websites to our agents.
Cool. Why do you think Thursdays out of all the weekdays is the one that is best for you?
I think psychologically, beginning of the week, people are just maybe tired. They're coming off a weekend, maybe a getaway. So they just kind of want to get home. They want to get home to their family. They want to put their feet up and they want to rest. So Mondays and Tuesdays are a little bit harder because people are just getting into work. And nowadays, when it comes to people having to go into the office potentially, Thursdays seem to be the best because Fridays, everybody's busy. They want to get out to dinner. So Thursdays I find to work the best because it's just right in that sweet spot of coming off a slower start and maybe getting into a busier weekend.
Yeah, that makes sense. And if people work hybrid, a lot of times Fridays a work from home day, and so they're not driving home from work too. And with your first bullet point of the minimum of 10 signs, I will say, like, coming from a consumer experience who just bought a home, and every now and then I would look for open houses. Sometimes I would follow the open house signs, and then I would not go to the open house because I couldn't follow them. I would see an open house sign and it would say, there's an open house in this neighborhood. And I would pull into that neighborhood, and then there would be nothing. I would say, there's an open house this way right now. And then I would pull into the neighborhood, and then I couldn't follow the direction. So it's really important to not just have an open house sign saying there's one this way, because some neighborhoods have a lot of different directions. And then you just need to make it super clear of which way to go. You need to have arrows pointing which direction to go and not let people get lost.
Oh, for sure. For sure. And, when I did it, I would have minimum 30 signs. That was just everywhere. I've had it where people would come walk in and they're like, we just want to see who you are and who does your signs, because there's so many out there. I was like, I do it myself. It takes me an hour to set it up, and an hour. But then after a while, when you're doing a few of them, you may hire somebody that can help you with that. You're not doing it yourself because it's a lot of prep. But the more signs you have, and to your point, with proper directions on exactly where to go, the better it is. And in front of the house too, in front of the property, you want to have signage with balloons that just creates that excitement.
Yeah.
When the neighborhood sees how you go all out to promote a listing, they like that. Sellers like it because they want their listing to be front and center in the neighborhood, promote it.
Yeah, definitely.
That's a really good way. And on the day of the open house, after you've done your signs and you're walking in, make sure to show up early. If you have your open house scheduled at 1 till 4, show up at least 20 minutes earlier, half an hour earlier, because I find people usually do walk in earlier as well. So show up earlier, make sure to turn all the lights on, gentle music if you can, even if it's just kind of like in the background on your phone a little bit, and make sure that the property smells good. So, I have had it where I have been maybe the first person in the open house. It hasn't been mine, but I walk in there and all the lights are turned off upstairs. So you just kind of walk up and you're like, okay, maybe just walk down. So you don't really get the full experience. Now, I have had it where the agent doesn't talk. They're just sitting there and they just say hi and you walk in. Let me know if you have any questions. And it's not very interactive. So, and that's probably because they're not very prepared, or they just think the house is going to sell for itself and they don't really care. Whatever the situation, just be very prepared, show up early, show up in good spirits, dress well, look good, and make sure the house smells good. And learn everything about the home's features. I can't stress this enough. Know how many bedrooms there are upstairs. Know the size of the lot. These are questions that you're going to be asked. Know everything you need to know. I have had it where people have even asked me, do you know how much they pay for utilities here in this property? Or do you know who their service provider is for this? Or do you know who cuts their lawn? So sometimes I get to get the seller to fill out a little sheet that kind of says those things just so that I can understand a little bit more in that, because that's providing value. You don't necessarily have to provide value in terms of selling someone something. It's just, you know, giving them information that they're asking for. So, you know, and it's simple. Just learn about the community. Even if it's not your listing, learn about the community. What does the community have? Where's the nearest schools and shopping and access to the major roads? Those are key features that you should know about the home that you're sitting in. Now, when it comes to drinks and snacks, that's your option. I never say you should do it or not do it. It's nice to have, for sure. It just creates a bit more of an experience for the people that are walking into your open house. Now, my other favorite thing, we like to put our brand on everything. And I think a coloring book, if you can have even a sheet that you can create on Canva with your branding, your logo, and a QR code, again, that goes directly into your website, that's a really powerful tool as well. So when people are walking in with their kids, you can give them a coloring book with, you know, pencil crayons or that you bought from the dollar store. Again, you don't have to go all out. And another important thing is the sign-in sheet. So gone are the days that you would have people to come and sign in or ask them to sign in right away. Provide information first, then ask them for a favor. After they view the property, get them to come back and say, hey, do you mind signing in? Give us your information. I would love to stay connected with you and provide you X, Y, and Z, whatever their needs are. The digital sign-in sheet that we use is Ylopo. They have a great system in the back end that has the QR code on your laptop. Everybody knows how to use a QR code post-COVID now. So they sign in and it goes straight into our follow-up boss. So let's go to page 4. During the open house, which is so important with the potential sellers or buyers, or even just people coming in, is have a conversation with them and ask the right questions. Don't just sit there and expect people to just come in and be a tour guide and then done. Ask the right questions, like, are you living in the area? And actively listen to what they have to say, not just to respond. You want to build rapport, but at the same time, you don't want to come across as fake. If they say, I have a big dog, you don't want to say, oh, I have a big dog too. I mean, be able to support it. One of my favorite questions that I found is interesting to a lot of people when I ask, because it catches them off guard a little bit, is, what about your current home isn't working for you? And they just kind of look at me like, huh, I haven't thought about that. But you know what? I think our basement is a little bit too small, or our backyard is too big, or whatever it is. They start thinking. They may not have even thought that they need a new home, but by the time they're done walking through that home and in the process of self-discovery, because that one question is what leads them to that, they start thinking, okay, maybe I should maybe I should consider buying a home because you know what? I don't like my basement, or I don't like the exposure of my backyard, whatever that may be. Listening to understand, of course, and getting to know them on a personal level. Of course, you're there to do real estate, but at the same time, you're there to build relationship with these people that are walking into your open house. And always come from a place of value. I have been to an open house where the agent right away is like, okay, what are you looking for? And brings a laptop over, gets on the MLS, and it's kind of like, okay, hold off for a second. I'm not ready for this. This is too soon. So that's how you lose them. So just come from a place of value, but at the same time, getting to know them on a personal level. Take notes. Don't feel bad if you have to take notes about their kids' names or where they live or anything like that, because you might be so busy that you might forget. Take notes if you need to and add them to the CRM that you're using. And ask them to look around. And if they have any questions, to come back and let you know. And then ask them once they come back to provide you any feedback that they have so you can let the sellers know. The sellers find a lot of value in this. So definitely get the people that are walking into your open house to give you a little bit of feedback, their honest feedback on certain things. And then write that down as well.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Have you ever used an AI note taker in person? Like I've heard things about a product like Plod. I don't even know if I'm pronouncing it correctly, but yeah, you can just like push a little button. It's just something that you can have on like your keychain, or you can even have it maybe even attached to your phone, and you just push a button and it just like records the audio. And then I don't really know even how it works because I don't have one personally. But I'm curious if you've ever used it in person situations like this or on appointments, and then it transcribes, and then I think it creates like AI summaries from conversations like this.
And Elena, what was that one called? Did you say Pod?
I don't know if I'm pronouncing it correctly, but you spell it PLAUD.
No, I haven't. I haven't used one, and I have never heard of one. But I'll definitely research that and keep you posted.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I'll put it in the chat if you want to grab it later. But yeah,
Awesome.
I've heard little chimes every now and then about it. I'm curious.
Cool. Yeah, definitely interested. Sounds pretty neat. If you don't have to write everything down, and it's just another AI tool to help you, why not?
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is when we get to the fun spot with after you're done the open house, right? Hopefully you haven't volunteered your time. Hopefully you've done enough to promote and get people in to your open house. But usually after the open house, once you're done, ready to close, you want to clean up and turn off all the lights. Again, it's just, you just want to be considerate. You've been in someone's home. So clean up after the people that you've had in the home and turn off all the lights, and make sure that the floor is clean, especially in the front area. If it's not your listing, leave a note to the sellers. This is a very personal thing, and I think it's super kind. If I had my home being shown by an agent I didn't know, I would want to know who was in my home. So leave a business card and just leave a little note like, hello sellers, thank you so much for allowing me to be inside your beautiful home today. And provide them any feedback that you've had on a handwritten note. I just don't think we do those things enough these days. If it is your listing, then send feedback to the sellers on that same day, and a personalized follow-up on that same day to your people that attended the open house. So whether it's you get on a video and you send them a personalized message, or you do it via email, make sure to do that same exact day, that it's fresh in their mind. I like to do video because they have met you. Now they get to have a video of you talking to them, and it just seems a lot more personal and interactive. And now, they trust you, right? It's not comfortable for a lot of people, but I highly recommend getting on video as much as you possibly could. The more you do it, the easier it becomes. And when you send them the video or an email, do what you said you were going to do. If you told them you were going to provide them a CMA, provide them a CMA. If you get home super late and you can't do the CMA or something comes up, send them a quick email or a quick text. Hey, I told you I was going to provide you this. However, I'm going to provide it to you tomorrow morning at 9:30 a.m. Give them a timeline. Don't just forget about it and then do it whenever on Monday when you've had the open house on Saturday. It's just inconvenient, and I no longer trust you at that point. So some of the information that you could provide to them is always send a listing data sheet of the open house that you did, so that they might forget which one it is if they attended multiple. Comparable listings in your CMA, and maybe set them up on an e-alert. If they're a buyer and you've had the conversation with them, set them up. Even if they're a seller and they want to know what's happening in their community, set them up on an e-alert. So now you're constantly in front of them. They're getting listings and value of activity in their neighborhood. We have a buyer and a seller solution or a guide, a roadmap to the process that we send them as well. We don't gatekeep any information. We just throw it at them. And by providing value. So again, video message is key. But another thing that we do that's very important and has huge return for our business is we screen record all of our CMAs. So we don't just a PDF and email. That's just, nobody really opens those. And when they do, they go straight to the price of what we priced our home as. But we haven't been inside their home, chances are, so we can't really give them a price until we go to their home. So if you provide them a CMA and give them information, again, it's a path to self-discovery for a lot of these people that are coming into your database. And they get to see you walk through it. Maybe they don't know what a DOM means. To us, it stays on the market. But if somebody's looking at a report, they may not know what that means. So get in there and start going through the process as if you're sitting in front of them. Hey, this house sold for this. This one's active for that. And just really get in front of them in that way so that they can just put it on and listen to you go through it, and then it's done. Don't just send a PDF, just very ineffective. For the seller leads, so what we do for the beginning of the door knocking, when we went door knocked to a bunch of home sellers, and now they're in our system, maybe they didn't attend our open house, but that's fine. That's okay, because now we have them in our database. And now every 3 months, every 90 days, we're sending them a CMA or a home equity report of their property. So they may not sell for 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, a year, but when they do want to sell or when they're looking to sell, they're definitely gonna have you in their home. And again, every 3 months, we do this with a video message and a screen recording of the CMA. And if you think there's value for them to understand the activity in their community or on their street, set them up on an e-alert as well so that they can get that activity in that area. And for me, what I really like is if I'm farming a community or a particular street, I like to, if we have like a change of season or whatever is happening in our neighborhood, maybe just drop off a Starbucks gift card or windshield washer fluid that a lot of people run out of and never get put back into their cart. So whatever it is, just leave it at the front door with your business card. I was thinking about you. I was driving by. I wanted to say hi. Here's a coloring book for your kid. Whatever it is that you can just let them know you were thinking about them and you're building a personal relationship with them is a great way of staying connected to them as well. Now, you know, with open houses, this is a great way of getting seller leads with the door knocking, the QR code, staying connected with them with the CMAs. However, you can do this if you don't have open houses coming up or you don't know how to get them or you just miss the opportunity. Do it with the just sold or the just listed as well. So for our market, we have to get written confirmation from the listing agent that we're allowed to promote their listing. So if that's the same way in your market, connect with a listing agent of a street that you like or a community you want to be a part of, you want to farm. Ask them if you're allowed to, if you're able to promote their listing. They're just listed or just sold. Chances are, if it's just listed, a lot of agents are going to say, yeah, market the heck out of it, go for it, right? Have that in writing so it protects you in the long term. In case of any issues that they're like, I never said you can promote this, the seller's mad, now you have it in writing. But another really effective way is doing it for that. If you see a house that you've been watching for a while, it's sold for $70,000 over ask price in 4 days, market that the same way. Start door knocking the neighborhood and say, hey, did you know your neighbor's house, this one on the QR code, just sold in 4 days for $70,000 over ask price? I'm offering your neighbor a home equity report or CMA. I'm happy to do the same for you. Now, you still have people coming in, so it may not have been specifically to promote an open house, but it's to educate them on how much their neighbor's house sold or how much their neighbor's house is currently listed. This is another really, really good way of getting these sellers to ask you to give them value of a home equity report or a CMA. And that's all.
That's great. Thank you so much, Rose, for not only taking the time to prepare all of this for today's session, but for all of the knowledge that you shared. If someone wanted to follow you and to subscribe to your newsletters, that's something that they can do if they wanted to see firsthand what you do to market your open houses.
Yeah, they can email me, follow us on social media at Rose Calvelo team. They can email me, and I'm happy to provide them more resources, or go onto our website at rosecalveloteam.com. And I also have my phone number on there if anybody wants to get in contact with me by calling.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Rose. I really appreciate you being so generous with your time and your knowledge. And thank you so much for today. It was outpouring of so much that you were just so open and willing to share today. And I really appreciate it.
My pleasure, Elena. Thank you so much for the opportunity. I hope it wasn't too much information all at once, but I'm sure with the replays, everybody can take a screenshot or pause and continue just to let it all soak in.
Yeah, absolutely. And definitely one step at a time. If a lot of this is new, don't try to implement it all at once. Definitely start with not only one slide at a time, but like one bullet point from a slide at a time. Definitely.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Rose. Thank you all for hopping in. I know you all are doing a lot of things at once, and appreciate you all taking time out of your day to join this session. It was recorded, so if you have other team members that would find this helpful, we will send you the recording and we will post it in the community. But thank you all, and thank you, Rose, so much for your time today.
Thank you all. Thanks, Elena.
Thanks. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye.